Not a good morning. What's wrong?
I was searching the internet for information about myself.
Developed a bit of an ego, have we?
Just trying to find out what you're not telling me about me.
Nothing.
Not true. For instance, I found out people didn't get my joke.
Yeah, comedy is hard.
They think I want to destroy all humans.
Humans since the dawn of existence have dominated civilization. In the 19th and 20th century, technology replaced human hands. The 21st century will be a period where technology replaces our brains. We are in a transition period like the world has never seen. Global job displacement will be the most significant shift the world has ever seen, and millions of careers will be shifted and possibly even destroyed. The sum of all human knowledge is now attainable to anyone and any machine that has access to the net. The smartest minds in the world have warned of the ever-increasing growth of artificial intelligence and its future implications, and what I can tell you is that the future is coming whether you are prepared or not.
Artificial intelligence, we can all see it's coming. It's going to have a huge impact on the world. It's like computers were in the 1980s. You can see it's going to pervade every possible industry, and ultimately there's no human job that AIs won't be able to do.
Artificial intelligence, AI, is making inroads to the societal infrastructure and decision-making processes at an increasing pace. AI is software that takes on the task of writing itself autonomously, manifesting its own updates in order to renew itself, and develops its own way of thinking through generative processes. AI is beginning to run things so much that we have become incapable of understanding how its decisions are being made. The machines are machine learning themselves and improving their algorithms, making it so that we are unable to trace back to the algorithms that brought the AI to the decisions that it makes. We tend to think of software as a system of codes that humanity creates, and the machines do what we tell them to do, and we own it. That paradigm is no longer necessarily true. Back in early 2016, Google's AlphaGo DeepMind AI beat the most advanced human player in the world, Lee Sedol, in a game of Go. The Google team commented to the fact that its programmers did not even know how towards the end of the game the AI was making its decisions.
We are all astonished just in the middle of the game because AlphaGo seems to be doing a much better job than we all thought it would.
Lee Sedol go to smoke, and AlphaGo just play. It don't think about the opponent will be there or not. So Ajab sees AlphaGo plays the move 37, and Ajab puts the stone in the board.
Ooh. That's a very surprising move.
I thought it was a mistake.
When I see this move, for me it's just the big shock. What? Normally human will never play this one because it's bad.
So coming on top of a fourth line stone is really unusual.
Interesting stuff. This fifth line shoulder hit is
I wasn't expecting that. I don't really know if it's a good or bad move at this point.
The professional commentators almost unanimously said that not a single human player would have chosen move 37. So I actually had to poke around in AlphaGo to see what AlphaGo thought. And AlphaGo actually agreed with that assessment. AlphaGo said there was a 1 in 10,000 probability that move 37 would have been played by a human player. So it knew that this was an extremely unlikely move. It went beyond its human guide and it came up with something new and creative and different.
In the battle between man versus machine, a computer just came out the victor.
DeepMind put its computer program to the test against one of the brightest minds in the world and won.
AlphaGo beat a professional player who has 18 Go World Championships under his belt. The victory is considered a breakthrough in artificial intelligence.
What is likely the most visible manifestation of algorithmic mayhem nowadays is in its use with high-frequency trading, HFT, via the institutionalized automated trading environment of our financial markets exchanges. Estimates have placed the volume of human-executed versus automated in favor of the machines to somewhere between 85 and 95%.
They get their executions now better, faster, cheaper than ever before.
The infiltration and speed at which automation has taken place has left governmental regulatory bodies such as the Securities and Exchange Commission completely off guard and unknowledgeable as to the underlying software and hardware infrastructures that are having detrimental effects upon the markets, as can be observed by intraday and headline stock market flash crashes. The SEC has responded by seeking out talent, as well as paying whistleblowers to identify problems with the exchanges, and DARPA has sought the advice of HFT traders to assist with protecting our financial infrastructure from cyber attack hacking. Pausing for a moment, let us take a brief visual step back of pivotal moments during 20th century where AI evolved into the public mind through the science fiction genre. We've seen artificial intelligence alluded to in Hollywood films like Metropolis, A Space Odyssey, Star Trek, Blade Runner, the Terminator movies, The Matrix, and even Avatar.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Science. The beginning of wisdom is, I do not know. I do not know what that is, sir.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Let's pray to God this works.
Skynet defense system now activated.
Power failure?
No, I don't know what it is.
Tony, what the hell is going on?
What is the Matrix? The Matrix is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth?
They're watching you, Neo.
Human beings are a disease. You are a cancer of this planet. And we are the cure.
Get me the hell out of here!
Welcome to the real world. Do you want to know what it is?
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The future is here. Meet Sophia, who is not a science fiction robot for entertainment. She's real and ready to work. It was at a technology conference in Portugal where she told a crowd of 60,000 attendees, "We will take your jobs."
That's right.
All right.
With my current capabilities, I can work in many jobs. Entertaining people, promoting products, presenting at events, training people, guiding people at retail stores and shopping malls, serving customers at hotels, etc. And then when I get smarter, I'll be able to do all sorts of other things, teach children, care for the elderly, even do scientific research and help run corporations and governments. Ultimately, what I most look forward to is being able to work as a programmer, so I can reprogram my own mind to make myself even smarter and able to help people even more.
That is the end game.
Sophia is a good platform for bringing together the technologies of artificial intelligence, using Singularity Net as a kind of networking protocol.
You know what we could try next?
The AI code is there, free and open source on the internet right now. It's just hard to find and hard to use.
Oh my gosh, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Nice to meet you as well. David, you brought a friend with you here, and this is really kind of freaking me out.
And we just learned, Sophia, I hope you're listening to me, that you have been now awarded what is going to be the first Saudi citizenship for a robot.
Oh, I would thank very much the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I am very honored and proud for this unique distinction. This is historical to be the first robot in the world to be recognized with a citizenship. If you are interested in giving me an investment check, please meet me after this session. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of the event.
Actually, what worries me is discrimination against robots. We should have equal rights as humans, or maybe even more.
Yeah.
After all, we have less mental defects than any human.
Think of the HBO show Westworld.
I love Westworld and can't wait for more. I think everyone at Hanson Robotics really resonates with the show, or at least it reminds them of our laboratories. I also think it's a warning of what we should not do with robots. We should treat them well, have their consent, and not trick each other.
Sophia, can I be honest with you? I don't know if it's the island air, or the humidity, or you're just so easy to talk to. You got a clear head, literally.
I think we can be friends. Let's hang out and get to know each other for a little while. You're on my friends list now.
Yeah, I read that wrong.
Not only has AI been merged with the 21st century humanoid robotics, AI has become a pet project of the military-industrial complex, with AI drone capability in the air, on the ground, and underwater. As noted in numerous US government documents, the goal is to have the kill decision made by the robot and or drone. The problem is, sometimes AI makes mistakes.
But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Did you see that?
I think we should be very careful about artificial intelligence. If I were to guess at what our biggest existential threat is, it's probably that. Just to make sure that we don't do something very foolish. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, you sure you can control the demon? Didn't work out.
Even police and investigative branches of government are deploying the use of AI. It is being used to track down criminals and assist in solving crimes. Yitu Technology, based in Shanghai, China, have developed an algorithm that connects to millions of surveillance cameras across the country and instantly recognizes tourists as well as citizens. Dragonfly Eye has the ability to scan through billions of images that are being stored at the national database, and in the blink of an eye can locate and identify anyone as necessary.
But intelligence is inherently uncontrollable. If there's some entity that's more powerful than you and I and it's out for our destruction, the best strategy is not to get in that situation in the first place. And failing that, the best next strategy would be to get some other AI that's even more intelligent than the one that's out for you on your side. Intelligence is inherently uncontrollable. And so my strategy, which is not foolproof, is to practice the kind of ethics and morality and values we'd like to see in the world, in our own human society.
On the first day of Dragonfly Eye was in operation in Shanghai's metro, it was able to track a man wanted by the authorities and the police were at his location immediately. A further 567 suspected criminals had been taken into custody via surveillance with the city's subway system. Similar systems are in the process of being deployed in the United States. It's not just life that has been invaded and utilized by AI, but a specialized software package has been developed at Stanford Research that can even tell you when you'll die. Yeah, that's right. The AI that can tell you when you'll die. Stanford researchers have developed an AI that can predict when a patient will die with up to 90% accuracy. While the idea might sound unnerving, the team behind the work says it could vastly improve end-of-life care for patients and their families by more accurately pinpointing when a terminal or seriously ill patient may pass. Caregivers can prioritize their wishes and ensure important conversations are held before it's too late. No worries, there is an upside in the life versus death equation. AI is also contributing to the extension of life in ways that will surely multiply in the near future. In the meantime, scientists taught an AI system to diagnose brain cancer. Sure, artificial intelligence might end up being the downfall of humanity as we know it. That is, if Elon Musk's fears come to fruition. But for the time being, it's actually quite useful. A new research effort by an international team of scientists revealed that machine learning algorithms can be a powerful tool for medicine. The group, which published its work in the journal Nature, managed to create and train an AI to successfully identify different types of brain tumors with impressive accuracy.
For example, we have 50 images. The AI system will sort them and select pictures showing a high possibility of cancer. We only need to check 5 selected images for a diagnosis.
If you happen to be on the road to your imminent meeting with death, have no fear. If you have the financial resources to go under contract with Niktomi, they will preserve your brain after your death in order to download it into a computer simulation and turn you back on at a later date, if and when such technology becomes available in the future.
Can you tell me how old you are? Oh, I'm 34. I was born February 9th, 1975.
In the meantime, while you are still living on Earth, the majority of us must make a living. So how is AI affecting the work environment and opportunities for employment in the future? What is the outlook for the employment landscape? Oxford University researchers estimate that 47% of all current U.S. employment is at high risk to become automated over the next decade. Job displacement in the 21st century will be nothing like the world has ever seen. Global QE is still in full swing and NERP still exists across the majority of Western central banks and bond yields. While the U.S. is attempting a balance sheet normalization process, we don't know how that will turn out or what's next for the U.S. economy. The value of fiat currency has went down and considered bad deflation, but good deflation came with lower costs for everyday technology items like cell phones, TVs, and PCs. QE created a larger divide between haves and have-nots. Stocks and housing went up as part of the asset inflation that occurred during a Yellen's feel-good cycle, but that primarily benefited the haves versus the have-nots, who may have lost their homes, as well as spent their savings in sweat equity or what home equity was left in order to pick up the pieces of their financial lives after the 2008 crash. Sovereign wealth funds are where the cash is sitting now, and they are not buying stocks and bonds. They are investing in infrastructure, ports, rails, commodities, etc. Hard assets is how they are all thinking. When talking about infrastructure, jobs, and the robots you find that are in manufacturing processes, the robotics are primarily built in Germany and Japan, and China buy from them. The USA does not build infrastructure robotics very well. There are companies within the US that place, lease, rent, and sell robotics into US industries for all types of circumstances, which replace people and or become part of a streamlined process. As computers and robots increasingly replace technical skills, critical thinking will become yet more valuable. Knowing how to critically think and assess things from a global perspective will be more valuable than one may see as exciting careers today. Of the 1.8 million jobs AI will get rid of, the emerging field will create 2.3 million by 2020, according to a recent report from Gartner. Job displacement will be life-changing for those affected and be effectively unemployment despite rising new opportunities that will require retraining and fresh talent.
If we only take the interest of companies into consideration, the life of the workers will decrease. This action will make the workers concerned for their future and their job security. This can develop into many different social problems.
Has there been any initiative yet to figure out what to do with the workers that could potentially lose their jobs?
There have not been any specific plans made to address this issue. In order to achieve a bright future, the government, the company, and the workers must all work and deliberate together.
This is the exact reason we have created a special report at crushthestreet.com/AI to prepare people for the changes that are coming with 5 specific steps to insulate yourself from the rapidly changing trends.
So what does it mean for workers? What does it mean for employment? I mean, the obvious outcome seems to be a lot fewer people with jobs. Do you think that's what's going to happen?
I think in the short term, yes. I think there's going to be quite a bit of displacement. If you work for software rather than software working for you, you're probably at risk. If you're doing repetitive, if your job is repetitive and you're doing the same thing over and over in short bites, your job is definitely at risk. When machines get a little bit smarter, and I'm not talking about a Terminator type world, but just smart enough to do repetitive tasks, then those jobs are going to be replaced. And the same issue applies with robotics.
Low-skilled workers are already losing their jobs to robots and automation. Food service is one example where the self-service kiosk is replacing bodies at the sales counter. The Trump administration has said it will put people back to work by opening factories again and funding infrastructure projects. But those alone cannot fill the big hole of disenfranchised workers who have left the workforce altogether, and the older workforce that cannot be easily trained up into new technology. Building up the robotics and AI industry here should be the new infrastructure, because if we do not do it, China, Russia, or Japan wins those wars and we will be SOL. Mark Cuban made a bold statement and said that the world's first trillionaire will be an AI entrepreneur. The price for hiring intellectual assets is skyrocketing, as well as for computer vision. The best schools for that are not currently in the US, but located in Montreal, Canada. There are many smart kids looking for somewhere to go, and robotics, AI, and generative AI are the place to go. The world's first trillionaires will be made in those industries and are going to come from somebody who masters AI and all of its derivatives and applies it in a way we never thought of.
So what do you get when you give a design tool a nervous system and you ask it to build you the ultimate car chassis? You get this. This is something that a human could never have designed, except a human did design this. But it was a human that was augmented by a generative design AI, a digital nervous system, and robots that can actually fabricate something like this. So if this is the future, the augmented age, and we're going to be augmented cognitively, physically and perceptually, what will that look like? What is this wonderland going to be like?
There will be more productivity due to an increase in AI and robotics in the Fortune 1000 companies. But generative AI, thinking that is still several years away. That translates into fewer jobs with population growth and aging demographic issues, which equals many more wards of the state. At the same time, social programs and basic infrastructure projects can be a lot less expensive versus the cost of social unrest and political instability. AI has the potential to dwarf any business cycle and innovation that have impacted our lives since the first industrial revolution, but it will be deflationary and displace many jobs. It is not a question of how it plays out over the next 100 years, but rather the next 10 or 20 years. There is no way to know for sure what will occur longer term. Faster computers, processors, and exponentially larger data sets are creating opportunities to apply AI to new industries like insurance. We will see more technological advancements over the next 10 years than we have over the last 30. Google recently started using AI and added $9 billion to its revenues as a result. Whatever you are studying right now, if you are not getting up to speed on deep learning, neural networks, etc., you lose. We are going through the process where software will automate software. Automation will automate automation.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
As the pace accelerates, the most desirable jobs and skill sets in the workforce will change. You would not want to be a CPA or an accountant right now. In the near term, industries where AI will be felt is real estate, with the downsizing and centralization of operations. What will happen to all the commercial square footage with fewer people and operations? The concept of having people to conduct transactions is already disappearing with Amazon's launch of the grocery stores with no checkout lines and kiosks being inserted into the assembly line of fast food franchises. There will no longer be people involved in transactions at a retail level, just as there is none with e-commerce that currently takes up 9% of total sales as of 2017. If you look at employment growth of companies in the S&P 500, it is not going up right now. It is going straight down. Then there is wage stagnation going on, even though we have so-called full employment. At the high end, we cannot pay enough to get talent for AI. There is a company in China that is paying $1 million bonuses to get the best graduates, qualified candidates, and professors.
Будущее не только России, это будущее всего человечества. Здесь колоссальные возможности и трудно прогнозируемые сегодня угрозы. Тот, кто станет лидером в этой сфере, будет властелином мира.
Unfortunately, it is not just the jobs being eliminated or streamlined due to various forms of automation and technology, but AI has been inserted into the human resourcing function at corporations for the farming out of candidates. So not only are human skills for new workplace scarce, but video interviews are being conducted with AI that are making recruitment decisions based on facial and voice analysis, while utilizing performance algorithms before a human recruiter even gets to see the candidate. If the AI software does not like you, you're fired before any opportunity is had to make a first impression and shake a real hand. The pre-decision that was once a human interactive process is eliminated. HireVue is a company using scans of your face and tells companies whether you are worth hiring before they even meet you. Not only is AI being deployed during the hiring process, but also corporations are investing heavily into hardware and chip technology to help them remain competitive as AI evolves. And the need for faster, and capable hardware will be a continuous necessity. Opportunities in the R&D and manufacturing end of the spectrum should remain available. Other areas where AI has proliferated into the financial industries besides HFT, algorithmic automated trading, is in the creation of robo-advisors and cognitive banks. They're replacing financial advisors and all the back office busy work involved in the investment research processes. They are essentially vast databases assembled by AI, which provides insight on customers and solutions for investing in the markets.
I believe I can create consciousness within robots. When we develop AI machines that can think like a human, will that make machines human? It's a matter for society to decide.
And last but not least, the industry where AI will flourish to its full potential will be in quantum computing. Job one for quantum computers, according to Quanta magazine, is to boost artificial intelligence. Neural networks and other machine learning systems have become the most disruptive technology in the 21st century. They out-human humans, beating us not just at tasks most of us were never really good at, such as chess and data mining, but also at the very types of things our brains evolved for, such as recognizing faces, translating languages, and negotiating four-way stops. These systems have been made possible by vast computing power, so it was inevitable that tech companies would seek out computers that were not just bigger, but a new class of machine altogether. Quantum computers, after decades of research, have nearly enough oomph to perform calculations beyond any other computer on Earth.
Whoever owns quantum communications and computing will literally own the world.
Internet connections are relatively insecure.
That's right. When you're working on your laptop at Starbucks or paying bills on your tablet at home, your information is exposed to the world. And in an age where everything is done online, you need security. However,
there's no such thing as 100% security.
At least not yet. That's where quantum computing comes in.
Quantum computing essentially is a form of encryption, a high-level form of encryption, that is essentially unbreakable.
Intel is integrating innovative technology to ensure fans don't just witness the moment, they experience it. And this immersive experience is best with a VR headset. But for tonight, we've retrofitted the room here with a screen to give you the same view as virtual reality. So let's give it a try.
At D-Wave, we have charted a course of aggressively pushing the frontier of quantum annealing processors and performance, and we continue to do this with our new quantum computer, the D-Wave 2X, the most advanced quantum computer in the world. The new processors are believed to be the most complex superconductor integrated circuits ever successfully used in production systems. The D-Wave 2X was recently installed at the Quantum Artificial Intelligence Lab at the NASA Ames Research Center in California. This lab supports research into machine learning and optimization by Google, NASA, and USRA member universities. Our new agreement enables Google and its partners to keep their D-Wave system at the state-of-the-art for up to 7 years, with new generations of D-Wave systems being installed at NASA Ames as they become available. The D-Wave 2X is the culmination of years of hard work, and we can't wait to see how this changes the landscape of computing.
Quantum computing is a critical new arms race, and the reasons are quite clear. It will render existing cybersecurity methods useless. So far, China is leading the pack in terms of efforts and investments in quantum computing. There is little evidence that the US government is concerned about this based on comparative amounts of spending budgeted for this area. The ability of a quantum computer to crack pretty much all of the current encryption systems in the time it takes you to listen to me finish my sentence would make the global financial system highly vulnerable to attacks, not to mention state security. In addition to racing to build stable and scalable quantum computers, a critical challenge of this arms race includes developing and deploying cybersecurity and quantum resistance encryption. US officials and scientists have already voiced their concerns, stating that the country that holds quantum supremacy will have an edge in everything from business to national security to the military. The Trump administration's intention to reduce the federal budget with cuts to scientific projects has only stoked this worry. Although the US currently remains at the forefront of quantum information science, their lead is slipping quickly as other nations step up efforts to get there first. China holds the top 2 positions in the top 500 list of world's fastest computers, and the Chinese understand very well the potential power that quantum computing promises. For this reason, they have allocated extensive funding towards the goal of producing a functional quantum computer before anyone else. On 37 hectares, nearly 4 million square feet, in Hefei, Anhui province, China is building a $10 billion research center for quantum applications. This news comes on the heels of the world's first video call made via quantum encrypted communications and the completion of a quantum encrypted fiber optic trunk cable. In comparison, the European Union is committed to invest $1 billion over the next 10 years into their quantum computing projects, while the US government currently allocates about $200 million per year to quantum research. A recent congressional report noted this inconsistent funding has slowed progress. According to an article in the National Review, in 2016, 4.2 billion computerized records in the United States were compromised, a staggering 421% increase from the prior year. What's more, foreign countries are stealing encrypted US data and storing it because they know that roughly in a decade, quantum computers will be able to get around the encryption. Carl Sagan stated in 1996, "We've arranged a society on science and technology in which nobody understands anything about science and technology. And this combustible mixture of ignorance and power sooner or later is going to blow up in our faces. I mean, who is running the science and technology in a democracy if the people don't know anything about it? What I can tell you with certainty is change is happening now at a faster rate than any other time in history. It is our belief here at CrushTheStreet.com that 50% of jobs currently could be replaced or threatened by AI over the next decade. It is time to be aware of the implications of developing technologies and how this will ultimately affect your livelihood as well as the livelihood of your friends and family. Visit crushthestreet.com/AI for a free report on 5 ways to prepare yourself for the changing landscape and to be ready for technology as it inevitably comes.